Rated T for teen.
Each year, thousands of adults lose their shred. It's an epidemic simply known as shred loss. But it doesn't have to be this way. Because rekindling your shred is as easy as playing the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. With new parks, cross-platform multiplayer, and sick new game modes, we can put an end to shred loss everywhere. Get the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and show the world that the shred's not dead. Pre-order Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and play the Foundry demo.
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, sound bath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, as always, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
Hey, this is Anthony.
And this is episode 535, BGG Hotness. And our updates on our draft. We like to thank all our Patreon backers for helping us bring you a brand new episode. Hello, friends. It's so glad to be back with you again. And Anthony, this week, we're getting back to some of the old standards. And the standards, of course, are there are games out there in the world that are super, super crazy, amazingly burning hot. And we just need to talk about them here and now.
Right. Yeah, it's that time of year, too,
yes.
Right? It is the time of year when a bunch of random stuff is getting announced or discussed or shipped.
Yeah.
And it pops up on Board Game Geek, and we're like, what the heck is that?
What? Where? It's between the two conventions, between Origins and Gen Con. So it's that Twilight Zone-esque period, that space, that triangle of just shipping containers popping out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. And we're starting to get like the inklings now of like the last second Essen announcements too. So the Hotness is full of new stuff, which is always fun. I get to try to figure out in real time where all these games came from and why they're on the Hotness. And we're going to talk about basically what everybody can look forward to for the rest of the summer and into the fall. And we'll also update you on the progress of our board game draft at the end of month 6. So we'll look at see how people did, how many points they got, and where they're at.
Spoiler alert, Madeira is on the list.
Madeira is on the list?
Is it? Can it be? Maybe? Possibly? Hopefully?
No.
Oh, come on.
I believed you for a second. I was like, is it? Why?
I wanted to believe.
Oh, okay.
I needed to believe just for a minute.
Manifesting your own best destiny. Yeah.
Look, we talked about it's a Bermuda Triangle thing. That shipping container somewhere out there just going to pop up out of nowhere like a.
They said the games exist. Maybe they do.
We might have to go to the games. Maybe we need to make that a backer funder level where we just like ship ourselves over to China and try to track down that shipping container that's never shipped.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, we'll liberate the game and make sure it's repatriated to all the gamers in the countries around the world that deserve to have their copies back.
Right, yeah, when they try to charge a tariff on it and be like, actually, the game was free.
It was technically.
They already stole our money,
yes.
So we just took the games.
You can't tariff something that doesn't have a price tag, just saying.
Right, yeah, they already stole it. They wrote it off. They went bankrupt. It's ours now.
And to be fair, Madeira is all kind of about stealing supplies and shipping lanes and stuff like that anyway, so...
Oh, we should have seen it coming.
We play the game first, and that'll help us figure out how to steal the game.
Ahaha. Oh, Madeira. Someday I'll play that game. I mean, not the pretty version. It doesn't exist, but a version. I'll play that game.
It does exist. It does, in a magical land called China.
Oh, man. This is like the start of a Simpsons episode. How they end up in China.
Well, it could be.
The A plot is a failed Kickstarter campaign. The B plot is a tour of China.
Why not both? Right? Why
Yeah,
not
exactly.
both? It could be both. It could be both
Yeah.
things. Next episode, BGA goes to China. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to ask. It's a
No.
fun thing to have happen.
I got my passport. Let's get out of here.
Same here. Listeners, do you want us to end up in China on a wacky adventure trying to liberate a game that has been captured and stolen from us to send it all back to backers? I mean, come on. That's a podcast episode even I would listen to.
Right. That's like a whole series of podcasts. That's like a New York Times thing.
It's possible.
Let's do it.
We just need bail money. I think that's what the first thing is, or bribe money. I'm not sure which.
I was about to say, I don't know if there's bail in communist China, but
Well, I don't know if there's bail here in the U.S. either, man.
that's true.
We might be better off in China.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Good times,
Yeah.
everybody.
It's
All
fun
right.
right now.
It
It's
is.
fun
You don't say, Anthony.
over here.
Anthony's having all the kinds of funs.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another reason why we need the Madeira game to help us navigate this treacherous situation, people.
Right? Yeah. Send us the game so we can play it and have fun and ignore the world, but then also learn how to deal with the world.
See, that's a good next episode. The top 10 games to help us navigate this treacherous world situation in which we find ourselves living in.
Oh.
I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
How to live and survive in a post-apocalyptic dictatorship.
unfortunately, there's a lot of board games that cover that.
I know. It'd be great. All I remember is that you gotta hoard the food and not tell people you have it.
Okay, so you're talking about Dead Winter, right?
Yeah.
See,
Dead winter. Yeah.
see, that's going to be a whole episode where we just name post-apocalyptic games, and then we say, is it a board game or our current state of affairs? Which one is it?
There's a prison. It's in a swamp surrounded by alligators. Is it a board game or is it reality? Oh no.
No. I bet you there's a board game based on that. I mean, there's definitely Hungry Hungry Hippos, so I mean, it's close.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. All right. But before we get into all the fun of post-apocalyptic futures in which we now find ourselves living in, we got an episode to talk about because these are the hottest, the latest and greatest of tabletop gaming that's happening out there. And we want to bring you the kind and warm embrace of cardboard, my friends. Cardboard. All is good when it's cardboard based.
Indeed.
So, Anthony, with that said, let's get on to the episode. Let's talk about the fun stuff that we want to talk about because the after hours stuff happens later. And that's where we could talk about the stuff we're not allowed to talk about. But that's just for our Patreon backers that hopefully will not turn us in. So, therefore, the episode. Roll for preview, Anthony. What do we have up this week?
Rolling for preview.
So, a roll for preview this week, Anthony, is a game that you never thought you would ever see again, like Madeira. It's a little game that we've talked about once or twice before from a little unknown designer from a little unknown game company. It's called Blood Rage. But this time, Valhalla, which also seems problematic because Valhalla is where everyone goes when they die.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the after effects. This like Blood Rage happened. I'm sorry, Blood Rage happened,
Yes.
and now you're dead.
Yes. So Blood Rage Valhalla is a new standalone sequel to the 2015 Blood Rage, designed by Eric Lang. Players will rage beyond Ragnarok. That's the end of Midgard or the end of the earth. And battle to earn God's favor. Now, supposedly, and there's very little information about this, but we'll battle in Valhalla, right? The whole idea of this game is now Blood Rage and Ragnarok has happened. The end has occurred, which has been prophesized and occurred. So now everyone goes into the afterlife. And because it's Valhalla, everyone continues to fight. Because, again, mythologically, that's the culture in which they're coming from. And they like to punch each other in the face a lot. So there. And there'll be gods, because gods are there, and gods will do random things on the board. Again, all of this description is pretty random, But what we do know, again, standalone sequel to Blood Rage. From the pictures, it looks almost identical to Blood Rage. We don't have a map picture, but I'm assuming the map is actually Valhalla.
Right.
And what we're looking at least from the description, is that different gods will come into play, different monsters will come into play, and hopefully be different than Blood Rage with the gods expansion. So here's the hoping that it is slightly different. But if you check this out, which you can, because it's on GameFound from Tycoon Games. So our friend Dan Yarrington, probably most famously is currently for Everdell, is with their new, we reported about this, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. It feels like a couple of weeks ago, right?
It wasn't very long ago. It was at the most like a month and a half.
Yeah, there was CMON has seemed to be selling off their IPs and their games to other companies, and the Eric Lang collection of Ankh, Blood Rage, and Rising Sun went to Tycoon Games. And obviously this is the first release. Makes sense. That was Eric Lang's first big release, Blood Rage here. And in this campaign on GameFound, they're also talking about remastered versions of Blood Rage, Rising Sun, and Ankh. So seemingly, again, based on this very limited information, if you like Blood Rage, you can now own 3 different versions of Blood Rage. And again, you probably will own 3 different versions of everything because Eric Lang knows how to throw a game together. And all of those games have been fairly successful. Although I gotta say, like, Ankh came out not too long ago, right? That wasn't that long. What was it? 3-4 years ago?
Ankh? Yeah, it was like 3 years ago.
Well, how would you like a new remastered version of that, Anthony?
That's stupid. I can't say that's stupid. I don't know what they're remastering. Is it? See, the thing about the remaster that I'm interested in, and doesn't mean I'm going to buy these games, but the thing I'm interested in is, are we going to consolidate them and make like a definitive version of the game? Because the way CMON makes games is, here's a game, here's an expansion, here's 43 other things that we haven't play tested that kind of go around the game, and they look cool, give us $400.
They do.
If what they mean by remaster is, here's a definitive version of the game that comes with the expansions that make sense, and only we've picked out the rules and the promos and the stuff that fit into this, and it's all in one box, I'd kind of be down for that, because I'm super over all the like when I get the tower of cardboard in the mail from CMON, I'm like, just give me one box that has all the cool stuff in it. I don't know if that's what's happening. I'm speculating and wishing that that's what they will do. If they do that, I might be interested in buying Ankh, because the reason I didn't back it when it came out, because Kemet was up, and then I haven't backed it since because I don't want to pay $400 to get the all-in version, and I don't know what all I should have. So
yes.
You tell me what I should have, and I'll buy that if it's reasonable. So.
And I think it might be a little while until you can actually make that decision, because again, you will have the original version, the remastered version, and then seemingly every version will now have a brand new version. So you'll have 3 versions, and I guess you could argue, based upon the 3 versions, which version is best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And sounds like
all of these games right now, the only thing I own is Blood Rage.
Okay.
So I got rid of Rising Sun. I never bought Ankh. I'll be interested to see how they handle this.
Yeah, I still have Rising Sun, and I like that. Although I would kind of agree that if they could remaster Rising Sun into something a little more manageable, I think that would be to its credit, because I think Blood Rage was just tighter overall. And
right. It didn't have so much bloat around it, though. There was like 5 promo monsters. That was it.
Yeah, and then Ankh, like you said, with Kemet being out there, that just sucked up all the oxygen in the room. It was just like, I don't know if I need another version of this. And I played it. It's fine. It's not bad.
Yeah, I like it. It's fine for me too. It's my second favorite of the 3. But not so much that I went and got it.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm happy that people will be able to get these versions of the games, because they've all generally been good across the board. None of them are clunkers. And it seems to be the way things are going. If you think of Stefan Feld's City Collection, where he's just like, you love that game, I've remastered it. into a lesser version of the original game. Better production, but lesser version of the game. So
literally every time. I don't know what's going on.
I know. I'm trying to think of his City Collection games and if any are better than the original. And they're not.
Some people like Amsterdam more than Macau, but I don't.
I was going to say that. Because I think that's. But I think. I don't know. I think in the case of. I think Amsterdam is fine and Macau's okay. But I think Amsterdam doesn't overtake it. And I think if you're going to give me a remastered up production 10 years later or whatever it was, I think it needs to be better. You can't just come in even.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
New York, the new New York version, better? Like, production's better? But, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is some of these games, like, Amsterdam is Macau and Hamburg is Bruges, like two of his best games. Some of these games aren't.
Hamburg
like
is not a
game.
Yeah, Hamburg is a worse version of Bruges.
Right.
And then New York is
Rialto.
Yes. And the production is better, like tremendously better. Rialto had like the worst scoreboard tracker in a board game I've ever played because it's literally just these tiny little colored dots surrounding a black surface.
Oh yeah, I just pulled up a picture. This is ugly.
Yeah, it's really hard to play with too because you're never really sure where you are as far as the scoring markers are concerned. And you're scoring throughout the game. It's not like a one-time scoring mark situation.
Right.
But it doesn't. The gameplay isn't fundamentally better.
Right.
So that's really what kind of drops off. Marrakesh is very good, but it's not a new version of anything else out there. And then obviously the other games are fine, but.
Some of these I would have just liked re-releases or updates. Like they did Cusco. Can I just get a copy of Bora Bora?
Yes.
I can't find one. The one I had got destroyed.
Yeah.
They're doing Amerigo next year as Manila.
Mm-hmm.
That could be cool, but also Amerigo just upgraded.
Which is weird because Amerigo, I believe, was a Queen's production.
It was.
So it'll be interesting to see if Queen can outdo itself as far as the production's concerned, because America was a very good production.
Yeah.
But generally, if you ask anybody in this day and age, this current day and age, as far as production's concerned, Queen's games is not thought very highly of as far as productions are concerned. They're not.
No.
They're nowhere near the elite production people out there. So for Feld to take his games for upgrades, not really the best idea.
Yeah, and they're expensive. They're really expensive.
They're unnecessarily expensive, I think is my feeling on it. It's not just that they're expensive, they're just unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah.
And again, they dropped that whole idea of like collecting all the games. Like it went from like he'll actually sign them and you'll have your individual numbers and then they're like, yeah, kind of. We're not going to do the tokens and the signatures are actually printed on. They're not actually signed any longer, and like they kind of wavered and they made a mess of things. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
So obviously Tycoon Games could do a very good production here. It'll be interesting to see because I think you mentioned this earlier. CMON knows how to produce miniatures, so it'll be very interesting to see if Tycoon Games knows how to produce miniatures, because I don't remember them producing a game of miniatures off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm sure they've had some stuff, and it's hard to look it up because they've changed the name of that company like 14 times.
Yes.
Like, okay, let's just keep changing it until people forget who we used to be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. When you're going from CMON to anybody else, you have to hope like they have the line on the production and the artist, the sculptor. Like, hopefully they're not starting from scratch and all that stuff. But I would imagine, considering they just told us they bought Blood Rage like a month ago, that a lot of this was already done.
Also, it's an interesting question now more than ever is, where is Tycoon Games producing this game?
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously now the prices are, China is not in the best favor of the U.S., and U.S. is typically the largest market. I had heard some game companies were looking at Brazil to produce some games. So maybe there'll be more of a diverse, production market out there. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I got to imagine if I think this is a Q3 release, that this is already in production. Because, I mean, out of every game, any game that Eric Lang's ever produced, and any game that CMON's had, Blood Rage is like one of the games that's like a solid win.
Yeah, this will do really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. I'm hoping it's not crazy expensive. Again, Blood Rage I still have. I love it. It's my favorite of these like dudes on a map run around blow stuff up games. So if it's a legitimate sequel, and what they're saying is like you'll be able to play them back to back, which is cool, I would consider picking it up. But
do you like it better than the new version of Kemet?
Oh, no, but they're different to me. Like Kemet definitely feels like more of a on the like it's got all the Euro elements, but it's so much more combat. Whereas Blood Rage, you really are just like managing your personal hand. Like it's more focused on the cards and your own personal build. And yeah, there's a lot of combat, but whether you're trying to win or you're trying to lose or you're trying to do something else, you don't really care what happens. It never felt confrontational to me because that's just one of the mechanics.
Sure.
Whereas Kemet is a game that drives you to confrontation.
But also it has that Agricola Caverna comparison difference where it's like Agricola had the cards that build up your strategy and had the powers, and the Caverna had the tiles. So Blood Rage has the cards, same thing, does the draft, same thing as Agricola, and then Kemet had the tiles where you kind of pick up those special abilities on the board too. So there's a lot of similarities there, at least.
Right. Yeah. Kemet just feels so tight to me because you're trying to get like, what is it, 10 points? Like it's not very much.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Blood Rage, I've played games of this where I beat people by 200 points.
Yeah.
It's broken. It's a fundamentally broken game. And Eric Lang's like, yeah, it's on purpose. It's fun, right? I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. But teaching it to new people is dangerous because they can get super mad at you. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird, fun, stupid, broken game where the mechanics kind of fit the theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig that, but we'll see if they can keep that vibe.
I hope so. It'll be interesting to see. I think in the end, it's not going to be fundamentally different. I think we're looking at a J.J. Abrams version of Blood Rage, where it's just like the same.
Don't say that. Boo.
The same, but slightly different.
With lens flare.
Well, I was thinking of Star Wars.
No, I know.
Yeah. I mean, it might have lens flare. It looks very lens flare-y.
So just a Lego sequel in general, which we got Ghostbusters, we got Star Wars, we got Star Trek, we got...
Yeah, sadly, we have all those things in a slightly different version of the same exact thing.
The 2010s of film, it was just all of those.
Well, I don't see anything different here, at least as far as the information. Again, I'm assuming Valhalla has its own board and its own sections.
Yeah.
My money is on it's going to be almost identical to Blood Rage with very few differences.
Honestly, it just seems like they have the gods a lot more integrated now, and the game gets messed with because of that. Yeah. Which could be cool, but how much of a difference is it? Is it because this is a company that makes different standalone versions of Everdell?
It's true.
And those different standalone versions aren't that different.
Yeah.
Like they have different artwork, they're on different maps, and they have a few tweaks to the rules, but they're pretty close. Like you don't really need multiple core boxes of Everdell. Like I had Farshore for a while, I got rid of it because I'm like, these are kind of the same. So are they doing that, where it's like a slightly tweaked version, and you have to have both? Or is it like a more significant overhaul? I don't know.
Well, you want the Imperial settlers versus the North?
Empires of the North.
Empires of the North kind of upgrade. That's what you're ideally looking for.
That would be perfect. Yeah, because that's like thematically, it looks the same.
Yeah,
it has the same idea behind it, but the things you're doing in the game are different enough to feel like a different game. So
that's what we're going to be looking out for, to see if the game is fundamentally anything different. And even if it isn't, you're such a big fan of Blood Rage, you might just pick this up because it's more. There is a note in here, it doesn't explain it too much, that you might be able to play these games back to back and some sort of integration. So it might be whatever you kill in Midgard shows up in Valhalla, and that's like starting. Because Hunt for the Ring, am I correct on that?
Yeah.
There's the carryover with that game. So
Lord of the Ring.
Yeah. So it's possible that they could be doing that. And again, why not? You're the same designer. You could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems easy. Like, yeah, you guys fought on Midgard. You all died. Now you're in Valhalla. Fight again.
That's it.
Yeah.
back to back. I mean, we talked about. I mean, this was one of my dreams for many, many years because
Star Wars
is to have the games kind of like link up together where they would affect other games.
right.
So, yeah, more power to you, Eric Lang. Goodness knows you need it. I hope you, young struggling designer out there, will be able to get this untested game out to the market and get some attention. Hopefully we've helped with a little bit of all that.
Yes, so hopefully our discussion of this game, for which we have very few details.
But yet at the same time, talked about it for at least 20 minutes.
That's true. Well, because there's so much to like speculate on. That's the fun part.
That is.
What could the game be? Once I know what the game is, I won't have much to say. I'm like, oh, it does this and this. Cool. Moving on.
I'm looking for our own BGA faction in here, so maybe that might happen.
I want to be a Viking who just screams blood rage really loud.
That's what everybody wants, man.
We've been doing it for 10 years.
I know, our throats are so tired.
Blood rage. 10 years.
It's funny. It's funny because it's true, folks. Anthony, let's roll for preview. And now, let's roll for review.
All right. I'm going to talk about a game I picked up at PAX 7 months ago.
Wow.
I picked this up on the last day of the show because my daughter really, really wanted to come, and she could not come because she had her black belt test that day.
Uh-huh.
And so at the end of her test, she's like, I want to go to bed now.
Oh, no.
It's a 4-hour test in which you exercise constantly for 4 hours. She was so tired, but she did it. She's a black belt now.
Okay.
And so I had to bring a game home, like something significant that we could play together. And I did, but the problem is that was like 2 weeks before Christmas and her birthday, and we, just really never got around to playing it.
Uh-huh.
And so we finally got it out to the table a couple times last month, with Father's Day and birthdays and all that stuff kind of mixed in. We had a lot of time to play games. It's called Creature Caravan. This is I don't know if it's the most recent Ryan Lockett game, but it is one of the most recent Ryan Lockett games.
Mm-hmm.
And it is in the more mechanical side of his games. Because at this point, he really has like 2 camps of games that he makes. He has the storytelling stuff that is probably the most popular of his games. Like, they make the most money. It does all the crowdfunding and stuff. So Sleeping Gods and Near and Far, Above and Below. And then you have the more mechanical games, which kind of goes back to the roots, where you have things like Empires of the Void and City of Iron. And now this one here, Creature Caravan. So I picked this up because it's a tableau building game in which you are kind of moving across this map and you are encountering hundreds of different creatures, these fantasy creatures that Ryan Lockett has drawn. Because if you're not familiar with Lockett, he does the artwork and the design on all of his games. So they all have kind of a similar house style because he does all the art, which is crazy to me because he releases a lot of games and there's so much artwork. So
yeah,
Creature Caravan comes with 134 unique cards with different creatures on them. He drew all of those and they look great. So that's fun. The game itself, though, it is a tableau building game similar to like Race for the Galaxy, where you're going to put out up to 12 cards in front of you that activate and do different things. So on your turn, you are going to move across this map. You have a little caravan, which is like a little caravan meeple. And you're going to move across this grid based on your movement value that's available to you. If you pass over certain spots, you get bonuses. If you pass over other spots, you get negatives. There are these literal like zombie creatures out on the map that if you pass over these certain spots, they will come attack you. It's not as dramatic as it sounds. You take a little token and later you can choose to fight it. But you're trying to get from one end to the other. And at the end of each of your turns, I think there's 10 or 12 of those turns, you're going to drop a campsite behind you just to kind of show and visualize how you've traveled across this map, which is pretty cool. At the same time, you are rolling these different dice. You have a handful of dice that you're going to roll at the beginning of every round. And those dice will have values that then correspond to different actions you can take. And it's not necessarily that like, oh, if you roll a 5, you get to do something 5 times. It's if you roll a 5, you get to activate that card that has a 5 die on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit about mitigation. It's a little bit about building a tableau that has some flexibility in it. You get upgrades and abilities later on that let you kind of ignore the die values. If you pick up fruit off the map, it lets you lower the die value that you need. You can always go over the numbers. So it was not like so frustrating in that regard. Again, I'm playing with a 10-year-old, so I didn't want it to be like, head banging. But once you've rolled all these dice, you can do all sorts of different things with them, right? So you can move across the map. That's one possible action. There are different types of terrain, and each move action has like different available terrain types that you can do. So if you take a move action, it says you can only move on plains. You cannot go over mountains or lakes, right? So you have to go around them. So you have to try to figure out how to get through on that regard. You're going to get cards that maybe give you upgrades to movement. So maybe you have a card that says every time you move, you can then move up or down one at the end of your movement to kind of get around the bad stuff. You can gain resources. So some of those actions will give you food, bags, coins. You're going to spend these to do other things. You can draw cards into your hand because you have this hand of cards that are available to you to build into your tableau. Or you can trade stuff. There's a whole separate trade board where you can trade in certain goods. So you can trade in coins to get food. And you need the food because that's how you play out your characters. Or you can trade in bags to get food. And so food is like the most important resource in the game. And every time somebody tells a trade, so let's say you trade in 2 coins for 3 food, that trade can no longer be made after the next round. So that's blocked off now. So there's like a whole board that kind of shows where that's blocked. So the later you get in the game, the harder it is to trade, or the more things you need to have to be able to make that trade. The similar on the combat side. So if you want to fight the zombies, the Ember zombies, you build up your attack power with various cards or abilities or whatever, and then you go and attack them on that board. If you succeed, then you block that off, and after the next round, nobody can go there. So it becomes like this. There's a lot of interaction in the sense that there's spaces on the map that kind of close off to you. There are actions and abilities that maybe rely on what you're kind of doing together, and then those trade and Ember zombie actions go away. Most of what you're doing on your turn, though, you can kind of do independently. The rulebook even tells you to play simultaneously, which we did not do because she's 10 and I had to help her a little bit. But I will say, as much as I just described, the game is fairly straightforward. You roll a handful of dice. All of your available actions are in front of you because they're either on your player board from the start of the game, or you've put them out in front of you from the cards you've played. And you just try to figure out the best combination with which to do those. And she really took to that after like the first half of the first game and through the second game. She's just trying to figure out the math of it and what's the most efficient thing to do, what's the most interesting thing to do. And it was a good opportunity to sit down and have a conversation about like, okay, don't worry about like all the options. Think about what you want to accomplish. Do you want to get food this round? Are you trying to move a lot this round? Are you trying to put more cards out to like build your tableau bigger? Like, what is your goal? And now let's work backwards from there, how to get there, right? I want a bunch of food. All right, well, then you need coins or bags to be able to trade in, right? I want to get more cards out. Well, then you definitely need food. So you need coins and bags. I want to fight a zombie. Like, okay, well, you need to get some cards in your tableau that give you attack power. So the game kind of guides you and guides itself in that regard. So it has that vibe of like a Race for the Galaxy or a Roll for the Galaxy or any of those kind of games where you're building the tableau. And it maxes out at 12 cards in that tableau. But it also kind of narrows the scope a little bit, where yes, the cards interact with each other. So you might have one that says, at the end of the game, get 3 points for every giant card you have. And there are cards that might have the keyword giant. But that's it, right? It's not like all these different symbols. They're not crossing over against each other. There's not like these different types of cards. It's really just like, what does this card do? What are its types? And it has like keywords on it, like a magic card. And then am I building the synergy between those? And it's actually a really great way to teach that. Mm-hmm. I picked this up because when I stopped by their booth, honestly, my whole goal was find a game with dragons that's appropriate for a 10-year-old, because my daughter's obsessed with dragons. I did not find one specifically with dragons, but I was like, well, creatures, animals, fantasy stuff. She's all about all of it. And, at the booth, they were saying like, oh, this one, like, it's big. There's a lot going on here, but it's really is good for kids. It's pretty straightforward. The rules are fairly simple. The cards have very minimal or no text on them. Like, you might have a card that it shows a blank die spot, and then it shows a sword and a loaf of bread. So you put any die there, you have an attack power, and you have a bread. The end, right? There's no like complicated interactions. There's a few little things like that, but for the most part, they're all fairly straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to pick it up in like 20, 30 minutes. We were able to
nice.
play the game in a couple hours. It's on the longer end of the type of games that I play with them. But yeah, I was really impressed. I have not been the hugest Ryan Lockett game fan. I like them all, but I don't love them all. So I don't really own that many of them. I don't think I own any actually right now, except this. So, and I was just really impressed because I know he's been really focused on these story-driven games.
Yes.
And at first I saw this, I'm like, is it like one of those? Because I really don't want one of those. And he's like, no, it's more mechanical. It's like you're building a tableau. It's card-driven. I'm like, oh, great. I like that. And it really is like an interesting, fascinating, fun take on here's a whole bunch of cards in your hand. Figure out which ones to play to get the best synergies into your tableau and try to maximize the points that you get from doing that in a family-friendly way. So, yeah, it's a buy for me. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I think it's surprisingly strong. Not surprisingly, it's a Ryan Lockett game. But considering I hadn't heard anything about it and considering what most of his games have been the last like 5 years. 8 years. It's been a while. And then considering like that they were insistent that it was good for like 8 and up, and I was like, are you sure? It's a big box with a lot of stuff in it. And all those things kind of panned out. So it's been fun.
That's nice. It's good to hear. Again, I guess the plus and minus for me in dealing with Ryan Lockett games is that it's all him, but because it's all him, I find it very difficult to know which game of his, like, how different they are, because they are so similar looking and a lot of the mechanics and the creatures and the people. Like, I've seen this before, right?
Right. Yeah. And if you look at the cover to this game, it just looks like another one of those games. Like, it's like this caravan going off on this path. They're like, this is going to be story driven, right? Like, no, it's more like City of Iron. It's like you're dealing with cards and you got all these mechanics. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Like I looked at it and almost walked away because I was like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know if I'm really cool with this, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a really nice, pleasant surprise. And I feel bad that it sat on the shelf for so long.
Sure.
Like I felt bad anyways, because I got my daughter this gift and we just never got around to playing it. But I also feel bad because I think we would have had a lot of fun playing it more. And we will play it more. It's been fun.
And it plays solo too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Because I know that's your thing, man.
It is my thing, but it's on my daughter's shelf.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not my game. I bought it for her. I mean, I can just take it. It's all right.
Well, if you play the game Madeira, you'll find out how to take that game.
Yeah. And just leave a bag of sand behind.
Well, it's a different game. It's a different game, a different movie, different genre altogether. But maybe,
maybe I'm just thinking of what they did to us.
Yes. Well, that's what the game will turn into not too long from now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people, good.
Yeah, Creature Caravan. Check it out.
Very
Ryan
nice.
Lockett. One of this is a stretch because I have not played all of his other like mechanical games. But one of the best ones I've played. I've not played Empires of the Void 2, so I can't speak to that. I know a lot of people really like it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It does need to become an Empires of the Void 3, because I do think it needs to be streamlined a little bit, because I think the rules were a little challenging. And I actually talked to Ryan at a convention. I was like, this game, love this game, but also the people who were teaching it had a very hard time. And it doesn't seem like a hard game, but it seems like it's a soft, comfortable, not TI4, but it is certainly a space epic kind of game. And I really like that idea. It definitely could fit in that whole genre. And also I guess that one certainly is my favorite, but I have a soft spot for Above and Below. I think that's his best story playing game. I've played a lot of his games. I own a couple of them too. So, but I really like that one because I think the story elements in that are very unique and they have a lot of twists. So that would be the one. So if you ask me, I haven't played Creature Caravan yet, but Above and Below, still my favorite of that genre. And then completely separate is The Void. But again, a number 3 version would be great if he could do that.
Yeah. I can't speak to your ranking, but I do think you would like this because of the tableau element and because of like the little engine that you build.
Yeah, I love myself a game where you're able to combo.
Yeah.
So combos
So
are
many
combos.
combos.
Yeah.
Yep. It made my daughter mad.
Oh no.
Well, because she's learning it. It's the first time playing a game like this, and I'm like, I've played like 100 of these, and like, I'm not gonna like min max my tableau, but I'm also not just gonna sit here and not play the game.
Sure.
All the parents out there know the dance that is like
Wait,
not destroying your child at a thing, but also not having fun.
is that the reason, or is it because she has a black belt that you didn't want to mid-max the game?
That is true. That is very true.
You mentioned that very there was trepidation in your voice when you said that. You're like, black belt, right? Again? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. She can kick me in the face, and she's like 2 feet shorter than me.
How about this combo, Dad?
Yeah, she's, kids are funny, but like she'll get mad like if I beat her in a game that we're playing for the first time. I'm like, Abby, I've played this game.
Yeah.
Not this game, but I've played games like this so many times, and you will too, and then it'll get better at it. That's just what happens. But like, I'm not trying to destroy you. It's just it's innate. It's a language. You learn the language.
100%.
And this is a good way to teach that, and I've had fun with that with her.
It's one of the brilliance of the hobby is that so many games work off other game mechanics. So once you learn one game, you now have an idea for the next game coming up, and you could apply that knowledge or language, like you said, into that mechanic. So it's a lot of fun. Yes. All right. Well, that's all of our rolling. Now on to our feature review. Anthony, our feature review this week is the Hot of Hot. It is the Hotness. It's getting hot out there. It's July 2025. June has just wrapped up. And we have some updates on our own BGA draft.
Yeah. This is the fun part where we just kind of do a rapid fire through the 50 games on the Hotness.
Woof! Hot, baby.
Now, we will touch on all 50 games, but sometimes we will pass right through it because, and I remind everybody every month, some of these games are just always on the list, and there's not a really interesting reason why.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's just like, why spend the time on it?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
They know what they did.
Yeah, I don't need to talk about Wingspan for like the 400th time. We know why it's there. It's Wingspan.
What is this game you speak of?
Oh, okay. I guess we do need to talk about it for the 400th time.
I've heard of Wormspan and Finspan. This game is new to me though.
It's like Wormspan, but with birds.
Ooh.
People like birds, man. You have no idea.
People like birds more than dragons and fish?
Yeah, by millions.
Ooh,
apparently.
Okay. All right. Seems wrong. Me and Abby, we're on the same team dragons, man.
Yeah, Team Dragon all day. That's why I have Wormspan, because I'm like, she'll like this.
I know. It's true.
Flamecraft, too. Another good game she really likes. All right. So let's kick it off. At number 50, we got Sea Salt and Paper, this game you like that I don't.
Yay! It's the best game of all time.
All time?
Well...
okay, I'm going to hold you to that on the next top 100
of the moment in which we live.
Okay, this exact second, this is the number one. Got it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we never know if we'll have another second. All right. No, Sea Salt and Paper is going to be a modern day classic. This is a game that people will play long term, like they do play Love Letter, because I think the unique art style coupled with the really wonderful functional gameplay element where you can, as we were saying before, you can trigger things to kind of cascade, which is a lot of fun. And then on top of which, not only do you get that, but you also have that one outer if you can collect, like shoot the moon, like in Hearts, and collect all 4 mermaids to win the game. So there, even if you're losing the game, there is a chance, as rare and difficult as it is. And again, it plays well too. 4, it's got expansions, which really add to it. So it will, I think, it will 100% be in my top 100 moving forward.
All right.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's here, I think, is the new expansion Extra Pepper went up for pre-order a couple days ago. So people are pre-ordering their copy of that.
I will be picking that up too.
All right.
Keep it spicy, kids.
Keep it spicy. You got extra salt already?
Yeah, I already got extra salt. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to have extra salt.
Now.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to your doctor, man. Next up, we got Marvel Champions card game. This is always on the list. There's new stuff coming. There was the Falcon and Winter Soldier packs came out 2 weeks ago, and then they just announced a new larger expansion for Civil War, which introduces new mechanics where the heroes can play against each other. So we have competitive mode for the first time. This game's been out for a long time, 6 years. So finally adding a competitive mode that's pretty cool.
It's a little bit of a little bit of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emberleaf at 48. This is a game from the City of Games team with Frank West, who made Isle of Cats.
It's adorable.
Yes, it's cute. It's cute stuff.
And that's all it needs to be.
It's all it needs to be. People are happy with that. Wingspan we talked about. Sky Team 46, big popular 2-player co-op game. So always up on the list here. White Castle, similarly, very popular, very big discussions. Twilight Imperium 4th edition. There was a new codex released recently by Fantasy Flight. So they do these codices that have like upgrades and changes and new cards and sometimes new factions. So, and these are like print and play. So they released the 4th one a couple weeks ago. Civolution at number 43. This is the Stefan Feld game from last year that I was not enamored with. It's got pretty high ratings. People seem to like it, but for me, it was just a little overwrought.
What if we upgrade it by coming out with a Queen's edition of this and make it more expensive?
Are they doing that?
I mean, at this point, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought that's why. I'm like, no. I mean, I already have it, so I guess I'm fine. I haven't sold this game yet. Ugh, gross. Don't do that, guys. All right, Dune Imperium. This one's always up here. People be talking about Dune Imperium all the time. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Ink. Ink is a new one. So Ink is new to the list. It's designed by Caster Lap, comes from Final Score Games. Some reviews and stuff being posted recently the last couple weeks. It's also new on Board Game Arena. So
yeah,
honestly, that'll drive most of these if they are.
Super abstract-y, but it has a really cool ink toy factor to it.
Yeah. Dune Imperium Uprising. Yep, more Dune Imperium. People love Dune Imperium.
But now it's Uprising.
Now you're Uprising.
Will there be another Dune game because the next movie will come out? Will there be another game to kind of match?
There seems to be a new Dune game every like 4 months, so yeah, probably.
Well, I'm saying specifically from Direwolf because they have both of these Dune games which are nearly identical. So now maybe they'll do a third when the third movie comes out.
I mean, there's 4 or 5 versions of Clank, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, sounds like a good bet.
Yeah. Andromeda's Edge at 39. We talked about this last week.
Well, that's
Great
why it's
game.
Yeah, that's why it's 39, man.
Yeah. Number 38, Root. So I think Root just recently released some new stuff for the app. They are still working on the new expansion that should be shipping hopefully later this year. But it's just a popular game. It has a lot of activity on the forums because of all the different factions.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle game now at this point.
Right. Hot Streak up here next. This is the game of the racing mascots.
Yes.
You and I were watching a review of this when I was staying at your house.
Yes.
And it's literally just that. It's like mascots race. It's silly nonsense.
It's 4 toys that are on tracks and there's cards. And that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
It seems very funny, but also not a game, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, so I don't want to say it's not a game, but it's a party game. And we all know how those end up. They either are a game or not a game, but they're fun.
They could be a game experience.
This looks like a game experience.
I know. Legally distinct.
Right. All right. Number 36, Castle Combo. Got the Spiel of this year, so it's recommended at the Spiel des Jahres Award, which, by the way, the winners for that are coming up here in a week or two.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's on BGA. So
nice.
There you go. Slay the Spire, the board game. Great game. Great game.
The new video game has been... The trailer came out for the new video game of that.
Oh, okay.
Not long ago.
Yeah. I'm psyched for that. Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Will we see Spire 2 board game?
Probably. Seems like this did pretty well. We have a new Bruno Faiduti game working with Jun Sasaki from Oink Games. So Faiduti and Sasaki, new Oink game, Wriggle Roulette.
Okay.
So bear with me here. It's a game about reaching into a pile of mud.
Oh, no.
To pull out eels.
No.
While avoiding the snakes.
It seems like a nightmare of a nightmare.
I don't like that at all, but But Wriggle Roulette is a great name for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a push your luck game.
All right.
You're dragging stuff out of a bag.
Gotcha.
It's an oink game. That's how they are. Forest Shuffle. You know this one.
Yes.
I feel like this is up here a lot. I don't know if people just play it a lot. I've still never played this game, so I don't have a lot of insights, but I know it's on Board Game Arena. I know that it's a popular game. I know it's been nominated for a bunch of awards, so
yeah, and
there you have it.
Oh yeah, and they have the new version of it coming out, Darthmore.
Right.
So that's in a preview version. We'll probably see that at Gen Con or Essen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
32 is Endeavor Deep Sea. The expansion for this was just up on Kickstarter not too long ago. And I lied because I said I hadn't backed anything on crowdfunding this year. I did back the expansion for Endeavor Deep Sea. Because expansions don't count.
Keep telling yourself that, buddy.
It doesn't take up room on my shelf if I can fit it in the main box. It's all good.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, man.
Also a Kennerspiel nominee.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good game.
Yeah.
Trade and Triumph at number 31. This is a new game from Kyle Flowers about trading stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, and it has some weird, odd AI artwork on the box cover.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely AI artwork.
Hopefully, that's just a holdover, because they're doing a Kickstarter campaign way back when. So
yeah.
All
right, so we can rattle off a few here because these are evergreen games that are often on the list. We have Terraforming Mars.
I've heard of it in a book club.
Oh yes, quite.
We've dabbled with it a little bit.
A little dabbling.
We did.
Heat, Pedal to the Metal.
Good game.
Right.
A lot of stuff in a box.
Yep. BGA as well.
Yes.
So, a lot of talk there. Lost Ruins of Arnak does have an expansion coming out next month, so definitely chatter around that too.
Chatter, people. Chatter now. Go.
Big box. I'm excited for it. I pre-ordered this stupid big box. I hope they don't hit me with a tariff. But
oh no, jeez.
I know. It's just a giant box with a tiny expansion inside. Galactic Cruise. I still have no insights on this. I've not played it.
I played it. It's fine.
Yeah, as I've heard.
Yeah.
Bratz Birmingham. Classic. Still number 1.
Yes. It is. I will say, though, it is surprising that it's still holding on to the number 1 seed. It's not that it's not a great game. It's just still very surprising to me.
It is. Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay.
Deeper Regrets. Even Deeper Regrets. I'm sorry. The expansion for Deeper Regrets.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah.
So that one's up there. Wondrous Creatures at 24 is getting a lot of buzz of late. I still haven't seen a copy, but I would like to play it. Just this worker placement game about exploring all these different fantastical creatures, which, as I just talked about Creature Caravan, I'm all about that. I love that as a theme, like the menagerie of strange things out in the world.
Gotcha.
Number 23 is Spirit Island.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, it's up here. I don't know why it's necessarily up here.
Well, because when you're dealing with a fascist government, you need to have the spirits back you in a revolution of the indigenous people to retake your land and push back the invasion of it.
Okay.
Look,
cool.
I learn things from games. I'm not,
Yeah. I dig the irony in the games that we play.
Okay, good.
I'm all for it.
We're here for irony, man.
We're here for irony.
That's in the mission statement. Irony, just across the board.
Yep, all irony all the time. Nothing actually changes.
No,
sad.
It's just re-implemented. It's never changing. New version, better? I don't think so.
Oh man! All right. Next up on the list, we have Black Rose Wars, the revised edition.
See, another revised edition.
One of these big box miniature games. It's up on Kickstarter right now, or GameFound. I'm sorry. So there you go. That's why that's there.
Are there more revised board games or movies these days?
Ooh. I think right now, board games.
All right. You say that, but then go see Jurassic Park, Superman, and Fantastic Four and get back to me.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park doesn't count because all those movies are just that, and they know it and they don't care.
That doesn't make it better.
I didn't say it was better. I don't like those movies, but
It's sad because I love dinosaur movies. I'm a dinosaur movie fan, and like, what was it? The last one? What was it the last one? No, the last one was the bugs.
the last one was terrible.
The last one was the bugs, and the one before that was the guns that when you point them at people, the dinosaurs will attack those people.
Yeah,
they've missed the point of the gun to begin with. Guns also work.
Yeah. You already have the gun, and you're already pointing it at somebody. Why do you need the dinosaur to attack them?
That was a weird movie about clones too.
That was weird.
Like that's why.
There were some interesting ideas in that movie that could have been fun.
Yeah,
like you make it like an alien style movie with a dinosaur like tracking people in the house.
Yeah,
that could have been cool. That's not what that movie was.
That's a weird movie. Yeah.
There was one scene of that, but other than that, that's not what it was.
It's true.
Jurassic movies are bad. All right, Flip Tunes.
It looks adorable. I like it.
Yeah, this is very cute. I dig this. This is a game where you're just like creating little animated flip book type things with the grid of cards that you're creating.
It's a deck builder, but
yeah,
it's got those throwback to like the early 40s kind of cartoons.
Yeah, giant pupils.
Yes,
gangly arms.
I mean, I like a deck builder to begin with, and this is fun. I like this. Thunderworks.
Yeah.
It's a different,
very cute,
different game for them too.
Yeah, no, I was surprised when I saw the publisher. I'm like, that does not look like one of their games.
No, it does not.
All right, Shackleton Base: A Journey to the Moon. It's a new one from Fabio Lopiano and Nestore Mangone, which you all know from Lorenzo and other games.
Those people know what to do.
Yeah, it's a game about building a base on the moon.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, the thing about this one though is like you get the cover and it has like this dark kind of ambiance, person like staring out at the moon. I don't know, it just gives me like a vibe.
Yeah,
and then you look at the board and it's like a white and gray spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the game is bad. I would like to play it, but what am I looking at here?
It looks like very Vitala Lacerda-esque with the tracks and the meeples. It's very stark for a game. And from these designers, their productions and their gameplay does not kind of like vibe with that.
Right.
So I'll be interesting to see how this plays, because my assumption in it, again, because of designers, is that it's going to play very different than what the game looks like.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. So. It's got some interesting elements to it. So, it looks a little abstract-y for my taste, but maybe not. It's the artwork is interesting. The actual artwork is it's a thing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to finding a copy.
It's got a vibe, man. It's a vibe.
Yeah. All right, into the top 20 here we go. We got number 19, Bomb Busters.
Yep, that's your Spiritus Yaris nominee.
Yep, Spiritus Yaris nominee. I think it's one of the favorites right now to win.
It's a very good game, and if you need to know how to bust your bombs, this is the game to teach you.
All right. Next up, we have 18 is Harmonies. We all know Harmonies.
Yeah, it's a little abstract game with the adorable little artwork on it.
People get a lot of plays it on Board Game Arena, so always up here. Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, which is a game from several years ago, making it onto the list.
It's a very pretty game. I like the artwork a lot.
This one might fall into the category of I can't immediately see why it's here, so please write in and tell me, because you always do, and I appreciate it. It's a cool looking game. It's one of those games that I definitely would have played. Pierre Sylvester created The King is Dead as well as Lost Expedition. I like both of those games. Never played this one.
Neither have I.
All right, next up we have Champions of Rokugan.
Yeah.
This is a new game from Monolith, so you know what you're getting here. Big box of miniatures. It is, I don't know if it's up for pre-order / game getting stuff early now, or if it's going to be later, but it is basically a miniatures game set in the Rokugan universe.
Gotcha.
So if that's your vibe, there you go. It's not my vibe. Number 15, we have Roth. This is a game with these very interesting little carved figures.
Yes. So
it's an area control board game. It has the competitive, cooperative, or solo modes, which boo, but doesn't mean it's bad. I haven't played it. And it has like a race mode to it where you're just trying to get to 30 points. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although it does have all those neon vibe colors.
It does.
In the sci-fi that that you're starting to point out to me.
Yeah, you're starting to see it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Chip Theory too, I believe.
It's got that kind of. I'm making an assumption here, having not played it. It reminds me a little bit of Innis, where it's just like really interesting, dynamic, amazing artwork, but the gameplay is just kind of like control areas and play cards. And you're like, okay,
yeah,
like, sure, that's a thing. Yeah.
It's from one of the designers of Dice Throne. If that gives you
the
vibe,
that seems to fit.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the list, we have a few familiar recent games. We got Arc Nova at 14.
Deal with it, Anthony. Deal with it.
I got to deal with it. Flip 7 at 13. Deep Regrets at 12.
I do have deep regrets about playing Flip 7 so much. I do.
And then we can move into some other games that are newer. So at 11, Fea's Swamp.
Yes.
This is interesting. This is designed by Helga Ostertag and Anselm Ostertag.
Easy for you to say.
Who worked on Terra Mystica, Gaia Project, Age of Innovation.
These are the brains. These are the brains
that you know. And so you're building out your clan on a magical swamp.
Sure.
Looks interesting.
It does, certainly.
Yeah. So it's got it. Honestly, looking at the board, it's got kind of a Terra Mystica vibe, but you don't have like the player boards and stuff. There's like these different tracks.
That's funny. The first thing that popped in my head was Gaia Project because it's got that like sparse nature to the area.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
Yes.
But not as much as those games. And I really do like the art direction and vibe is very like hand drawn jungle swamp kind of thing going on here. Like it has a frog meeple. It's got axolotl meeples. Like it's cool. I dig what it's doing.
Same.
Number 10 is Arcs. Been up here for a bit. Very popular. Number 9, Earthborn Rangers. Also just been, kind of cruising along for a while now with multiple crowdfunding campaigns. Number 8 is Unstoppable. This is a new one from John D. Clare, coming from Renegade. So John D. Clare, famously of Mystic Vale and all those games with the cards that sleeve into each other. So this looks to be another one of those.
Yeah. Card crafting, people. Card crafting.
Card crafting all day.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Wolf Street. So this is a game of negotiation where you're trying to become the richest animal in town. So it's one of those get all the money in an economics game, except now you're an animal.
All right, sure.
Is a whole vibe, right? This is a reimplementation of Panic on Wall Street, which is a game from 2011. Which is much less interesting to look at. Lots of paper money, lots of tracks, lots of dice, no cool looking animals. Number 6 on the list this week is SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It's got an expansion coming here in the next couple of months, so people be talking about it and playing it. Good game. Number 5, getting reviews from several big outlets lately. We have not had a chance to review it ourselves yet, but we'll be doing so soon. The Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship. So also on Board Game Arena for those who want to try it out.
Yes, definitely.
Number 4, also on Board Game Arena, which is probably why it's here.
Yes.
Rumble Nation. So it's designed by Yogi Shinichi. It's a game out of Japan, from Hobby Japan, and it is all about kind of the Sengoku era, the Civil War era of Japan. So you're trying to control these different 11 castles on the map, and you have a dice that'll help you do it. So it's a pretty small map, a lot of different cards that influence what you're doing, and I don't know, these small, compact area control games in Japan are always fun.
Yes.
Number 3 is The Anarchy. This is the new one from Garphill Games, designed by Bobby Hill, the follow-up to Hadrian's Wall. So we got more roll and write action for you. Been waiting for this one to pop up. I knew it was coming, but just now, I guess, getting into people's hands. Number 2 is Vantage, the new Stonemaier game. It's going to be at Gen Con. People are starting to get the previews of it and their early impressions. Interested to see how that run breaks down. And number 1, Dungeons and Dragons Builders of Baldur's Gate, which you talked about last week.
Yes. That is why it's at number 1 now.
Always. It was definitely not already there last week.
It was not. I mean, we pulled it up by its bootstraps. It was languishing. I mean, it was down at like number 551. And they were like, gosh. you little tiny nothing of an RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, we believe in you. We believe in you. And we brought it up from the depths of all depths, and yeah, we put it there, buddy. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. No reason to
all
even do a podcast anymore. We did it.
All right, we're done? This is the last episode?
Yeah.
We're announcing that right now. Okay. Peace.
Well, look, Dungeons & Dragons, they needed some help. We pulled them up some help. Why else are we here, friends?
Did we ask for money first?
Uh-oh. No wonder we...
Oh, man.
No!
Right. The podcast shall continue, friends.
Oh, no! It's going to continue. Get the money first, bro. Take the money.
The contract. Get paid. All right. Let's real quick do a quick update on our fantasy board game draft. No huge movements this month, so this will be a quick one. So games that were on the list in the month of June at any point, not necessarily today, but just in general. Iridia, The Paths We Dare Tread, The Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era, Root, the Homeland expansion, Transgalactica, Vantage, which we just talked about, The Anarchy, which we just talked about, and the Galactic Cruise, which is we talked about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So those people who picked those games scored some points this month. Our current rundown of the points: we have Drew at number 7 with 1 point. We have Nick at number 6 with 2. Tim at number 5 with 5 points. Dave at 4, also with 5 points. Andrew has 6 points. And we have Ryan D at number 2 with 13 points. A lot of that coming off the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, which has been on the list every month so far this year. I believe the only game that's been on the list every single month. So congrats, Ryan, for drafting the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era.
Nice.
And then number 1, not embarrassing at all, to win our own thing, Team BGA with 16 points. We're killing it, bro.
Fix. It's fixed.
Yeah. Our big game has been Iridia, The Paths We Dare Tread, but it did finally fall off the list at the end of June. It is not currently on the list. So it is possible. It is possible that it's gone. Galactic Cruise, that we also picked, has been up there for 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you have it, folks. We are 6 months in, and those are the current standings. Thank you to everybody who participates and who writes in and kind of asks on the updates for these. And there is also the hotness. All the hot games you'll be playing for the next few months.
Absolutely. We thank everybody for joining us for these. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully it's been a lot of fun for all of you, doing the drafting, picking out the games. Anthony, when does this big draft competition, winner takes all, kind of come down to the end?
We are going to do a final wrap-up check-in after Gen Con. So we'll see, if any of these games hit the hotness and discussion at Gen Con, hit the Geek Buzz. We're going to do a final wrap-up. And then when we do our next Board Game Geek Hotness episode, which will be after Gen Con, we will let you know who wins.
Nice. This is the kind of like the Super Bowl of the draft, right? It's the big coming out where games actually make it or break it kind of thing.
Yeah, because a lot of these games will be, if not for sale at Gen Con, visible there. People will be talking about them. So it could absolutely, upend the rankings. And we'll get a final count and see how we do.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. So that's everything for this week. Until next time, this is Chris.
Hey, and this is Anthony.
And we'll see you all. See you at the table. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Hey there, Hugh from Podderation here. If you like today's show, why not check out Make Believe Heroes, a family-friendly D&D show for all ages. Join our eclectic, lovable cast as they explore the world of Manumi and beyond in a show that's designed for everybody to be able to enjoy. If you'd like to hear more, check out our website at podderation.com.